That's completely the wrong camera. Hello, everybody! How are we doing, everyone? Happy Monday. No, happy Wednesday. Just get it all completely wrong. Wrong camera, wrong day. My brain clearly is not working today. It's because I've been painting these. So much gold. And do you know what we're going to do tonight? We're probably going to keep painting the gold. Because I just want to get it done. It's just a lot. It's just... I'll hold it longer. I want to see. Here you go. I'll just pop it onto this one so you can see it in all its glory. And I'll turn my camera on. There we go. There you go. That's what we're working on. As you can see, I'm about halfway through all the gold. The highlights. But I have many more highlights to do. So I've done this half of it, and now I need to do this half of it, and I need to do the torso of the man on its top. However, before we do that tonight, we're just gonna hang out for a little bit because I've been highlighting all day, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. And highlighting all day is hard. You know? It's hard work on the old eyes and wrists. But then, they're finally done. And it only took me 18 months to paint the Varangard. So I can apologise to anybody who's been waiting all that time. But good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, Yamail Angmar, Dahi McGibbon, Travis Woodside, Gavin Kirby, the Tattooed Zoologist, Plops of Corn, Stoogie, Flying Muttley, Jungle Camper, Jaeger Bomb 2, Abdul, Horus's Sexy 30k. Great name. Asmodeus, Martin Spoon, good evening. Philip G, good evening. Baz C, good evening. How are you all doing? Are you all good? Are you all happy? You having a lovely week? It's a lovely Wednesday. The weather's been a bit pants today. So, as you can see by the title of today's stream, and indeed the thumbnail, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Horus Heresy. Because I didn't know when it was going to hit me, but it was inevitably going to at some point, that I would feel like 40k is not the sci-fi game for me anymore from Games Workshop. And because I love 40k, the setting, it might be time to take a little holiday in the Age of Darkness. Because, like I said, I do love it. I just miss when I enjoyed the game. So, part of me feels like now is the time for me to jump into the Age of Darkness. Just for fun. Just for the bands. Lovely election news. You're not wrong, Martin. Lovely election news indeed. I'm very excited for it. And also horrified at the same time. Currently making dinner. Excuse my lack of presence. That's all right, Captain Mannerings. Good evening. You can be here for as much as you like or as little as you like. The choice is yours. For me, Heresy is missing variety. 90% of it is Space Marines. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Just got my hands on a Veterans of the Long War box. Can't wait. Is that one of the... That's one of the Chaos Battle Forces, isn't it? That just came out for 40k. Hello, Grey Wolf. Wasn't your 30k Death Guard used in the Horus Heresy Traitor book? I have no idea. I doubt it. It'd be nice if it was. Good day to you, James Matthias. How are you? I'm watching at the bus stop during my 30-minute wait for the bus. Happy to see that you're talking about games other than 40k. I've been completely mentally checked out from 40k for about 8 months, I would say. But I've been kind of lamenting that a little bit since coming home from the Age of Sigmar event. And I've been like, look, I mean, this is the game that I sort of cut my teeth on a long, long time ago. It's where it all began, really. With a free metal Necron and a white dwarf, you know. So, in some ways, it makes me sad that I don't really want to engage in it at all at the minute. And so, rather than trying to force myself to get excited about Warhammer 40,000, what's the kind of adjacent thing? And the thing I enjoy, more so than anything else, is big army battles, really. So the conclusion I can only come to is that Horus Heresy is probably something that is now appropriate for me, and it's probably the place that's kind of where I was meant to end up, if you see what I mean, because it's always been that kind of graduate game in some ways. You know, because it's essentially playing, unless you're playing at a competitive level, it's essentially playing historicals in the world of the 41st millennium, or in this case, the 31st millennium. General Gwotkin, how are you? Yeah, I mean that is part of it, Christos. There is a degree of that. You know, there is that the community of Horus Heresy is quite particular, because it was created basically for that. It was created as an answer for a lot of people who were sick and tired of 40k. And it really, what the transfer happened was you got a lot of the kind of old-timer sort of established crowd moved over into Horus Heresy because they weren't really playing or enjoying, mostly complaining about 6th and 7th edition. So Horus Heresy comes along and it's like, hey, here's this thing. And a lot of people moved into that because, you know, it's where you can theoretically just play historical wargaming in the 41st millennium. So there's that kind of vibe to it. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe this is where I need to go. I would definitely play as the Mechanicum in the 30k. I mean, that is looking like it's going to be an absolutely sick range. The Thanatar being plastic is absolutely bonkers. It's great. It's great though. And do you know what? It makes me think that maybe the termite drills are on the way in plastic, which will be really cool. I don't know what I find so compelling about those, but I really like the termite drills. I just don't own them because they've been prohibitively expensive, and I've never really needed to use them. And that is, I think, one of the things that's been great about the plasticification. That's not a word, but of Horus Heresy is it has made it less prohibitively expensive to get into. So here's the thing. What I'm kind of thinking at the minute, guys, is maybe instead of doing like with the intention of playing super competitive Horus Heresy games, what I think would be quite fun for me to do would be to create something I've always sort of thought about doing in the past is to do a kind of themed a themed collection rather than an army. And what's basically the problem I have is I really want to do all three of White Scars, Blood Angels, and Imperial Fists. And obviously the three of them were featured quite heavily in the Siege of Terror. And so I quite like the idea of creating a collection that has elements of all three thrown together, just for me to enjoy. And like, you can look at it and say, this is, I mean, you could probably play it as Shattered Legions, right? But just to create something that is like that, I think would be really cool. The other option I had for a long time, I've sort of thought about it back in the heady days of when everything was resin, was doing the Unremembered Empire, so Blood Angels, Ultramarines, and Dark Angels. Because like I'm not really gonna go to events, and any casual play I do of Horus Heresy is going to be with a friend. Is the £160 Horus Heresy core box good value? You get a lot of models in it, and you get the rule book, obviously. So what you do get in there is, I want to say, 40 Mark 6 Space Marines, 10 Cataphractii, 2 Praetors, and a Spartan and a Contemptor. I want to say is the contents of that box. 54 miniatures, yeah, 40, yeah. So if you want to throw all that into one army, that is a lot of models to throw into one army. It's a great place to start for a single for an army. Vanti Gaming asks, not 30k related, but I'm prepping my Skaven army for AOS 4th. Will you be doing Contrast Plus videos on them? Certainly will be. The Unbelievable Beaver, not enjoying 40k at the moment. Absolutely not, the Unbelievable Beaver. 10th edition is not my jam at all. I don't like it. I just flat don't like it. There's a number of reasons which I can bore you with if that's what you wish to hear, but you know, there's quite a few reasons as to why I just 10th edition just doesn't feel right. It doesn't like, I think 40k for a long time felt like putting on a really nice pair of trainers and being able to walk out in an edition and enjoy myself. 10th edition, I don't get that vibe at all. I've played a couple of games of it now, and I was like, I'm just not enjoying this. I don't like this. I don't like the way it's written. I don't like the way it looks. And I really don't like the model releases that have happened so far. Which is not to say that the model releases have been bad. The models are all great, but none of them enthuse me. None of them get in my soul, you know? None of them just like live in my brain. I'm like, cool, fine. It's out. One that's come close is the new Gene Stealer Cults model. That's a pretty good model. I like that. It's not what I was expecting for the Gene Stealer Cults. Honestly, I thought the Gene Stealer Cults would get a redesigned Broodlord. You know? Good evening, Colonel. What was the outcome of that paint competition? Oh, the one at the Age of Sigmar Reforged event. I got a silver and a bronze pin, which is a 100% more higher success rate over Golden Demon. Kill Team also solid from a small hobby project point of view. Yeah, but see, like, this is the thing. I just... There was a time I really liked Kill Team, and it was at the end of 7th edition. There was a really, really good little Kill Team book that came out. It was really small. And I loved it. I thought it was great. And similarly for Age of Sigmar, there was something called Age of Sigmar Skirmish. I don't know if anyone ever played that. It was really good. I really enjoyed it because it was fun, fast-paced, frenetic, good stuff. But these days, it's. I look at the game and I go, I don't feel. I just don't feel enthused by it. Because you're playing with what I think is an unimaginative range at this point. Still have the rules for AOS Skirmish. It is a really good set. See, I'm not sure on the splitting the AOS 4 box or starting GSE or Sisters. Honestly, Robert, if you want my opinion, AOS 4. AOS 4, absolutely. 100%, all day, every day. Should we crack out an 8th ed 40k rulebook and play that instead? Yeah, I would be up for that. I would 100% be up for that. So, here's where I'm at, guys. I have a brain that is at this point we're 99% certain that I'm absolutely riddled with ADHD, right? But I have a brain that when I get enthused about something, I end up being super passionate and excited about lots and lots of different projects. Now, when it comes to Age of Sigmar, I look at every army, nearly every army, and I go, oh, I really want to do it. Right? And I have ideas for how I can put it together. And I will, when I'm bored, or trying to think of something else to do, or trying to occupy my brain, I'll come up with 2,000 point army lists, and then I'll kind of look at how it is I could get hold of all of those models in the cheapest possible way, right? That's something that I'll do. I used to do that all the time for 40k, and I just flat don't now. Never happens. But what has been happening in the last sort of fortnight, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, that kind of thing, last month, I've been thinking about Horus Heresy, and I've been dwelling on it for a while, and I've been thinking, what if I was to do just go ahead and do that as my way of still having my toe in that universe. You see what I mean? You can play your Titan in Horus Heresy. You can make some Sekitari to take care of it. Yeah, I can. See, I'm already most of the way there with my Warhound. Good evening, Laura. Alora is never late. Nor is she early. She arrives precisely when she means to. So yeah. James is going to be doing all 3 AOS 4 Gene Stealers and Sisters. That's a lot of plastic. So, in my Cabinet of Wonders, I have all 3 of the Primarchs. And on the channel, you can see those videos. Sanguinius, the Khan, and Rogel Dawn. So I can quite easily jump in and start making armies for them. I have the Age of Darkness box, minus 20 Space Marines from that box. Because as you recall, when Age of Darkness box came out, I bought a box of it, and I did 18 videos on how to paint the contents of, well, how to paint the legions. So I've done all 18 legions. So I know how I would paint them. That bit's never in question. Although, the thing that kind of leads me towards doing White Scars is you can just go nuts with the freehand and just do tons and tons of sort of individual markings and things like that. I'm thinking of AOS Caradron of Horus Heresy Black Shields. That sounds cool, Scrooge. Oh, I should say, guys, I am a YouTuber, and I am remiss. Guys, if you could please leave a like on the stream. That would be incredibly kind of you. Our first target is 50. Our second target is 69 likes on the stream. If you like the stream, it's a free way to support me, as it brings more people in to come and watch. The more popular the stream, the bigger I get, the more we grow, the happier Josh is. However, if you would like to support me a little bit further, you can become a member. If you become a member, it means you get access to the Discord and all that good stuff, where I have the best community on the internet. Most supportive, funny, they're very funny, community on the internet. Or you can send a super chat if you have a question that you really, really desperately want to ask that I might miss in the chat. Really makes it. Send a postcard, I believe is what it is. And that is my YouTuber duties. And you've already busted out 44 likes. There we go. Kicking ass, guys. Well done. I think you saw the Mechanicum were like, it's Mechanicum, and we're like, it is time. Yeah, maybe that is what finally clicked it. I mean, I don't really want to buy it. But I might do. I might buy that box. We'll see. I think that box will sell out really quickly. So if you are hoping to get the Mechanicum box, just make sure you're up and awake before 10 a.m. and online ready to purchase. We love a happy Josh. Press that like button, guys. Baz knows. Hit, lick, slap, smack, kiss, and whack that like button, you heretics. Show some love to our Contrast Paint Emperor, the Mr. the Warhipster. Thank you, Colonel. You know, you guys got it. There you go. You've already hit 50 likes. Well done. Incredible. Incredible scenes. So the next goal for the like counter is 69. So we need 18 more. Okay. I'm sure we can find them in the course of this stream. We also need 229 members to make it to our goal of 700 members. So if you want to slap some gifteds on the table, that would be incredible. Can we show every other stream on the internet how great we are here tonight? I have painted 0.5 of my 2 Age of Darkness box sets. Well, I mean, that's me. I've done 20 Space Marines. Is the Mechanicum box evergreen or not? I would guess that it's not going to be evergreen. based on the Solar Auxilia box. That's what it's called, right? There was a Solar Auxilia battle group, and that was just one. That was just a one and done. But then it all came out individually later on. But I would guess that the Mechanicum box isn't going to be an evergreen thing. I think it's like an army set. It'll be... It's out, it's sold, it's gone. And then everything come out individually. Asmodeus has gifted a member. He wins the prize. Thank you, Asmodeus. You are the first gifter of the evening. And Martin Melzer has become a member. Thank you very much. To put us on 473 legends of the chat. You are 100%. Thank you very much. You guys kick ass. Right. So, we're going to keep talking about Horus Heresy, but I've got a hell of a lot of gold to apply to this model. I need to get these gold highlights done, because then the model is pretty much done. There's just one last thing left to do, which is to throw the do the fire and the sort of the gemmy bits, which I won't do tonight on the stream because I have to film it so that the video is ready for you guys. This 18-month delayed video. And Joe has sent me a picture of his cannon. I'm just going to tell him he has a magnificent weapon. There we go. I just wanted to say again, thanks for all your vids. Revolutionised how contrast paints are used / viewed in my eyes. Thank you, Scrooge. I'm glad I could help. I'm glad you like contrast paints a little bit more now. Even if you're not a full convert, the whole point is that this tool is fantastic. Are you allowed to share with us who your favourite painter on YouTube is? Yeah, I could share that with you, Butchie. My favourite painter on YouTube is all of you in the chat. You're all my favourite painters. But if you're talking content creators, I think probably there's two I could point to off the top of my head. Juan Hidalgo, absolutely one of the best painters out there. I really enjoy his videos as well. I think he's very funny. Who else? Peachy. I like Peachy's stuff. Peachy's great. Just, you know, historically and what he's doing now over on his channel. Who else am I thinking of? The Painting Coach. Excellent painter. Really good videos. And then, you know, kind of more like stalwarts of YouTube, I would say. You know, things like Pete the Wargamer. Always enjoyed Pete's videos. Yeah, Louise is great. Vince is great, yeah. Yeah. There we go. Right, so we need some Liberate Gold. I've got it thinned down. Where do I start? Let's go for... I'm just gonna take it easy with this because I normally paint this. I normally just try and like head down, but I want to be nice and interactive with you guys. Of course, this isn't just an opportunity for me to just do this. You know, we're talking, we're live, we're streaming, all that good stuff. So I'm just gonna start down here on the foot because I clearly haven't done it. I thought I had, but I haven't. So yeah, Horus Heresy, Age of Darkness. So can somebody explain to me vaguely how it works? Because I understand that if you were to play, right, you essentially choose a Force Org chart, is that right? So you pick like a Crusade detachment, for example. And there are various of those, right? Is that correct? And somebody do tell me if I'm wrong. So there's things like, if I remember rightly off the top of my head, there's things like an armored spearhead, is that right? And then what those things do is they allow you to construct your army in a specific way. But then you also have things like the what they called is it Rights of War? they can also let you do things in a certain way. Am I correct on that thinking? So, like, as I recall, and I might be completely wrong because the last time I looked at it was a long time ago, but when you have something like Blood Angels, you can take the Day of Revelation and then everything has to have jump packs. Is that correct? Bit overlappy there. You don't love to see it. Is a Varangard as big as a Demon Prince? You forgot to mention Darren Latham. Darren is not a YouTube painter. But obviously the one I have forgotten right there is Duncan. Mr. Duncan Rhodes. Darren's not allowed to have a YouTube channel. Let me just bring that. Let me bring this like this so I can actually see what I'm doing. I was a little bit far away from the model. Whenever I live stream, because I get nervous when I'm live streaming. I don't get, I just get hot. So that the temperature in here is no different to what it's been all day. But for some reason, now that I'm live, I feel really warm. And it's because my body is racked with nerves. I've heard this Warhipster guy is pretty good. Don't know if you've heard of him. I have heard of him. He's a bit of an amateur. I heard he's just a massive shill. Who doesn't know how to paint. Be gone, intrusive thoughts. The problem when you've got this much trim to do on something like this is I always struggle to just kind of stay on target. So all I want to do is just do the edges as they leap out to me, because it doesn't make any, like with a model like this, it's difficult for me to concentrate, because there's an abundance of options to highlight, right? So when you've got this many edges that need doing, I end up like kind of just straying off the beaten path instead of finishing off a section by section. Which is why I always say to, I always say this in my videos, just take it steady, take it a section at a time. Which is really good advice to listen to. And I should really listen to myself as I do it. Do as I say, not as I do. Do you see what I mean? But it's ridiculous, for example, that even doing the really boring thing, I get distracted and bored of doing the really boring thing. Because this is the bit that sucks of doing, I'd say, most Chaos models. Especially of the kind of heavier troops. So like the Knights and the Chosen and the Warriors and the Varangard. Another reason why I would be inclined to do Horus Heresy is, whilst there is trim present in things like the Chaos factions, the traitors, there's nowhere near as much of it. So if I was to do, let's say I was to say, tonight we were to talk about it, and I was to, kind of go, do you know what, I'll do 2 armies, for example. I'll do a traitor and a loyalist thing. At least I know I'm not getting lovely, clean, very little trim miniatures. And then also going to have to put the same level of effort into ostensibly the same unit, but it's covered in 14 miles of trim. I haven't done any of that foot, so we'll do that. Will we? It makes sense to do it. Might as well. It's all got to get done. Boo, 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 doo, boo. And then we got the little sigil. That also needs a highlight. And then we've got the inside. which, because of the way this one is built, you don't always necessarily have to do this bit, right? But because of the way this one is posed, if you don't do it, you'll see it. Martin has gifted €5. I'm offended that you chose a red Horus Heresy army and it wasn't Word Bearers. I'm very sorry. If I'm going to choose a red army in the 40k universe, in the 41st millennium, it's always going to be my beloved Blood Angels, the 9th Legion, the Angels of the Emperor, the Revenant Legion. They go by many names. Apparently I didn't do this bit either. But thank you very much for the €5. Was it euros? It was euros. Thank you very much. That is very kind of you. I haven't missed anyone else, have I? Blood Angels are the only choice. I knew there was a reason we were all friends. I haven't done the head. See, that's a classic Josh got distracted, right? See, look at that side of the head. Looks great. Look at that side of the head. Looks terrible. Josh, I picked up my first Stormcast Eternals from eBay. I went for the Storm-sized Curse Breakers just to have a little test with. Thank you very much for the $4.99 plops of corn. You're very generous. I very much appreciate that. Storm-sized Curse Breakers is pretty cool. I'm excited for you to do your first Stormcast. It's going to be a whole new world for you. You're going to fall in love like I did all those moons ago. And just continued this love affair I have with the Stormcast Eternals through 4 editions now. It's always been funny for me with Stormcast, because I've liked everything they've done with them, and then they've improved it, and then I'm like, oh, so like I really liked obviously I really liked the original Liberators and stuff like that. And that was where it all began, but I really liked that stuff. And then they brought out the Vanguard stuff, and I was like, yeah, this looks better, because, you know, there's less like just open space around the models. They feel a little bit more filled in. And then when the Sacrosanct stuff came out, I was like, this is even better, because they're all, you know, covered in robes and this, that, and the other. It just kind of covers up the plate. But when Dominion dropped, and we got the Vindictors, and then consequently got the pile of stuff that we then eventually went on to get from 3rd Ed Stormcast Eternals, I was like, man, I wish it had been this way since the beginning. And whilst I've never lost that love of those initial first models, they've continually like updated and improved on the formula. which is really, really just quite something for me. And I know it's not the same for everybody. I know a lot of people will disagree with me. But there's just something very compelling about the Stormcast. I especially loved it when they started getting faces. Because when they started getting faces, it started adding character to the range, which I think for a long time people were very confused about what Stormcast were meant to be. Like, are they living, breathing beings? Are they, automata? Do they have faces? All that kind of stuff. So I think when they started having faces, it was one of the biggest improvements to the range. And then the faces just got kind of... at first they were quite weirdly angular. It's like they had the lightning... It's like the design briefers, we want to see traces of lightning in the face. So if you look at some of the early heads, they're all like... They've got really angular eyebrows. Or, brows. Which, is fine. But you look at the ones, for example, that we've just seen previewed as part of Skaventide, and that they feel like a much more realistic face, which is just very, very nice. Which is an insane thing to say of, I want more realism in my high fantasy game. But I just love that there's just been this development that I've got to witness with Stormcast all the way through. And as much as it pains me to this day, they're not invincible. I already hit the nice number. Nice. Well done. Well done, guys. It's nothing to do with me. You guys did that. Expanding and finding new members of our gaming group is how I enjoy 40k 10th. Just played a new fella in the area. He bought an Abaddon CSM army with War Dog Brigade, my Dark Angels. It was a blast. See, that sounds great. That sounds awesome. That is one way to really enjoy it. How do you make the black so shiny without metallic paints? I'm about to start painting my Slaves to Darkness and really like your deep shiny black. It's Black Legion and then shaded with Nuln Oil. Can you permanently kill a Stormcast like killing demons? You can. There are ways to kill them. And many of them have died. Especially... so there have been some serious heroes from the early novels of Age of Sigmar. Ones that I'm really attached to that have died. And they've perma-died as well. So one of them is Thostus Bladestorm. He bought it. And he died permanently. And another, the big one, the one that really cut me deep, was in Broken Realms Be'lakor, where one of my favourite characters, who also headlined, who's the main character in 3 or 4 Realmgate Wars books, was Loris Grimm. Loris Grimm was main character in a lot of Black Library novels. And he unfortunately suffered a permanent death at the hands of Be'lakor in the Broken Realms campaign book. Ever since Broken Realms, it's been more possible for the Stormcast to lose their lives permanently because he conjured something called the Cursed Skies, which is this dark, malevolent, chaotic cloud that hangs above the mortal realms that catches the Stormcast souls and doesn't let them escape back to Azir. But there have been instances where Stormcast have been killed permanently. Generally from, soul trapping weapons or reality shifting weapons. So, like Korgos Cool, he has an axe that that shifts reality when if he cuts it in a certain way. It opens a tear into the realm of chaos, where no soul can escape from unless by the will of the Chaos Gods themselves. Although, if you haven't read the early Realm Gate Wars books, I think it's in the first or second one, featuring the Hallowed Knights, Gardas gets trapped in the Realm of Chaos, in the Garden of Nurgle specifically. And he has to, because he ends up spear tackling a great and clean one through a realm gate. It's absolutely fantastic. He just jumps off the top rope and takes a great unclean one with him. But he ends up traveling through this realm gate and ends up trapped in the Garden of Nurgle. And he just has to. He literally survives through strength of his faith in Sigmar. He's just basically charging through the Garden of Nurgle, just repeating over and over and over again to himself, "Only the faithful, only the faithful, only the faithful," which is, the battle chant of the Hallowed Knights. And it's sick. Because eventually he does make it out the other end. And the other Stormcast are a little bit suspicious of him because they're like, hang on, why are you so shiny? They think maybe there's some sort of corruption has gone on, but actually he's just passed through this eye of faith in such a way that he's now the most pious of all of them. But yeah, for a long time, and I haven't read it yet. I'm going to read it next after I finish The End and the Death. Well, I say read, I'm going to listen to. A book called Black Pyramid, starring Garda Steelsoul, which is about the hunt for Tarsus Bullheart, who was another Lord Celestant of the Hallowed Knights, commanded a different warrior chamber, the Bullhearts, and they were thought lost after they were sent as emissaries to Nagash, for Nagash to rejoin the Sigmar's pantheon after he'd finally reopened the gates of Azir and Sigmar had returned to the realms. And Thostus Bladestorm is sent as an emissary to Shaiish. But Nagash is none too pleased to see a Stormcast Eternal turn up, who he believes are his property, because he's Nagash. He is the god of death, and all death is his, and all souls belong to him. And he believes that Sigmar has betrayed him by creating this Stormcast Eternals, because he's stolen these souls from Nagash. So he just flies into a rage and basically kills Tarsus and the rest of his Bullhearts. But because they're in Shyish and they are next to Nagash, Nagash imprisons their souls in Shyish. So while he's unable to break them, he does hold them for a while. And I believe Black Pyramid is where we see Tarsus Bullheart return, maybe? I don't know, though. I haven't read it. I don't know what happens. Nobody tell me. Don't spoil it. No, don't do the other one. Just focus on this one. But as we've also seen, with the release of a little bit of a lore tidbit for the new Lord Terminos, the Lord Terminos will... One of his duties is to give fellow Stormcast their final piece, if that's what they want. Because every time they die, they lose a piece of themselves. They lose a shred of their humanity. So you have some Stormcasts who have died hundreds of times. And whilst they might be the most hardiest of Sigmar's warriors, there's very little of them, who they are, left in them. And the part of the concern for this is, you know, where does that end? You know, what happens at the end of that road? If they're no longer have a shred of humanity, like, what do they become? So that's what the Soul Wars was all about. You see, the sacrosanct journeying out into the mortal realms to try and find answers and a cure for the reforging process, but also combating Nagash and his nonsense with the Necroquake, where dead rose in every realm, including Azir. I mean, one of the things that happens in Soul Wars is the Necroquake happens, and at the same time as it happening, there's a reforging process going on, and it goes horribly wrong, and a soul is lost. I can shut up about Age of Sigmar novels if that's what people would like. I've read quite a few, but I haven't read enough, if you see what I mean. So I'm by no means an expert, but I am well read. No! I knew it was going to happen. Get off. There we go. I'm nearly done with the gold, guys. Thank you for bearing with me. On this most boring of streams. If you're enjoying yourself, please do leave a like. If you're really enjoying yourself, why not become a member? Is it relaxing to watch me painfully highlighting something in gold? I don't know. I've never watched myself do this. There's so much cramped gold there that actually if you get most of the gold off your brush, you can just kind of gently almost dry brush it. It's always nice when that happens. There we go. Look, we're nearly there. No, we're not. You know, I said in the video, I remember this earlier when I was recording, I was like, you don't have to do this bit. You really don't. However, it is absolutely worth it once it's done. And I always think that with Chaos, it's like, yep, no, you don't have to do that. You could just completely ignore the highlighting of the trim. And actually, your life would probably be more enriched for it. But once it's done, it just really makes the models sing. And I hate that. Bosh. That's the armor all done. Now we just have the last tedious bit, which is the weapon. And we'll just do it all at this one angle, and then we'll do it at the other angle as well. It just means there's less travel with my wrist. You see what I mean? Just do that. Pick out that. Do that. Pick that out. And that one. Do that and that. Around the corner. Then we can flip it over. There we go. I think maybe because all of you are watching, I'm going quicker than I do normally. Because I feel like this has taken a lot less time than it normally has. And this one's the one that's got the most trim. Hey! There we go. And it's done. So all that's left on that is to do the red and orange shiny bits / fire. But of course, I can't do that now because I need to film it for the tutorial. And if that's not worth 20 gifted, I don't know what is. Christos, thank you very much for the 10 euros. I love your trims, but they are giving me a headache, and my biggest AOS collection is Slaves of Darkness. I'm doing tests for my Skaven and want to do Ulgu bases. Any suggestions? Yeah, Starpilot asked me this on Monday. I think if you go from like a really dark base, you can use something like Astro Granite Debris and paint it black or something, and then kind of dry brush it up with like very subtle blues or purples. That will give you that kind of shimmery, shadowy aspect. Is probably how I would do it. I was thinking about that last night. That's not bad. That was 40 minutes. Astro Granite Debris is continued. Sorry, yes, just normal Astro Granite. You should be able to just get normal Astro Granite. Astro Granite. Yeah, Astro Granite. Something like Modern Earth can work, but you need to go from a dark base because Modern Earth is a crackle paint. What's the next model that you're going to paint? Where is it? So what I need to do is I need to finish the Slaves of Darkness Spearhead. So I have a Chaos Lord to do and a Chaos Chariot to do. So I'm going to do both of those as well. And that will finish off my 8th Spearhead. Then after that, I am going to take a little bit of a break from Project Spearhead. And I'm going to do Callus and Toll, the Accursed Cultist's Torments. Is that what they're called? The 3 that I haven't done from the Accursed Cultist box. I'm going to paint... I'm going to try and get Fulgrim Transcended done as well. And I'm also going to try and get the Army of the Dead and some Minas Tirith miniatures done as well. For all my Middle-earth fans out there. So the ones I really want to get done are Gandalf the White, and things like the Guards of the Fountain Court and stuff like that. So I need to get all of that done. Do I have any videos on Chaos Space Marines? I have quite a few Chaos Space Marines. Which version of the Chaos Chariot have you done? Just the chariot with the 2 horses. I did it as it is on the box. Because that's what I think generally you're guided to do on the Vanguard set, the Spearhead thing. Are you planning on doing a paint tutorial for Abraxia? Yeah, I'd like to. Can I paste a link to my mini? You, unfortunately, are not allowed to post links on YouTube. Because you might be trying to scam people. I'm not saying that you are, but YouTube just won't let you do it. I can post links because it's my channel, but you guys won't be able to post links. Exactly, Scrooge. I am wise to you. I'm not. YouTube is, though. But thank you very much, Christos. It's very kind of you for the 10 euros. I hope something in that stream of consciousness was useful for Ulgu bases. What should we do with the last 45 minutes or so of the stream? Oh, I can show you what turned up today. So rather unbelievably, I ordered something for a made to order that turned up. The Heroes of Helm's Deep. So for all you Lord of the Rings fans out there, how's this for a slice of retro? So I ordered these on Saturday. Unbelievably, they turned up immediately. So what we have here is we have howdy. Here we go. With a slightly bent bow. There we go. We have Aragorn with a very bent sword. Very bent sword. There we go. Fixed it. We have Gimli. There he is. These are super classic for me. We have Eowyn. There we go. We have Legolas. We have Theoden King. Rest in peace. We have Gamling with a very bent sword. This is a good sword. There we go. And we also get a Wood Elf Herald. There you go. So this turned up. I'll see what I can do, Martin. I'll try and make them better. I've done a couple of Middle-earth tutorials. And I really love painting Middle-earth miniatures. So that turned up to that turned up today. But the thing that turned up, which I think we could do for the last 45 minutes, which also might excite some of you. Mine didn't turn up too long ago, Graham. It took ages for my translucent. They turned up like a couple of weeks ago. Hello, Elecman24. How you doing? We have the White Dwarf himself, Grombrindal. A lot of people asked me if I was going to buy this and build it and paint it. And the answer is yes. We are in the midst of Me Time May, after all. And it might be Me Time May and a bit of June. So. Oh, brilliant. He's push fit. That means it's even quicker for me to do. Is it push fit? Looks like it's push fit. Yeah. Alright, let's build this guy up, shall we? We need both of these things. Have you got White Dwarf 500 as well? I have, yeah. Yeah, I ordered the magazine. Might be a rude question, but how much is he? I can't remember. Grombrindal, how much were you? Grombrindal. £25. What faction would you think this mini belongs to? Any order, probably just generic order. Kind of like how, I mean, I know he looks like a fire slayer, but Gotrek is just like any order. I like it when models are attached to the sprue like this. See how it's a rounded peg like that, and then there's a small little connection point on the end. That's peak Warhammer sprue right there. That's my favourite. Oh, it's my favourite. Is White Dwarf 500 going to shops or not? Yeah, it should be. Should be available in your stores now. So yeah, I thought earlier about building up some of the Mark 6 tactical marines that I have, but they are residing in a box in another box in a cupboard that was irritating to get to. So unfortunately I couldn't do that tonight. But yeah, so for those of you who didn't know, on Monday when I returned, when I was at Reforged at Warhammer World over the weekend, I bought Chin Shah, Master of the Keshig, for the purposes of doing a White Scars army. And I know I talked about doing a kind of Siege of Terror based thing, and he obviously wasn't there. He was a bit occupied being, you know, deed. But I really like the model, so I bought Chin Shah, and I want to get some Ebon Keshig as well. I'd like to get some of the Golden Keshig, but when you have to buy 3 of them to make a unit, and oh yeah, they come in boxes of 1, I'm less inclined to do that in any kind of speedy fashion. So I'm going to hold off on that for a while. And I would have bought some Ebon Keshig as well, but they didn't have any in stock. Not that I saw anyway. Lovely. What armies can use Grombrindal in AOS? Is it all the dwarf factions or just cities? It should just be all order, I reckon. I don't know exactly, though. He's probably got a war scroll on Warcom where you'll be able to see. Good night, Tattooed Zoologist. Have you heard anything news about the new Warhammer Quest game? I haven't. I was talking about that at the weekend, actually. I was like, we're probably due another Warhammer Quest at this point. It's been ages, and we had them it was coming out thick and fast for a while. You know, we had Blackstone Fortress and Cursed City, Shadows of a Hammerhall, Silver Tower. They were pretty close to one another, but we haven't had a Warhammer Quest in a while. I said we are probably due one. I've definitely just bent that. There we go. A little tiny bit of mold line just there. There we go. Yeah, well, Cursed City. Cursed City was a problem. It probably caused a lack of appetite to do a Warhammer Quest game after the hassle that caused. Whatever that hassle was, we'll never know. Games Workshop ain't telling. Um, is that a cheeky mold line? Yes, it is. Now you slot in here. Apparently. Oh, that's pretty good. Love it. Love to see it. We need the bearded head. Bosh. Connection points in the hair. You don't like to see it. There we go. Go on, slide in there, Grombrindal. Oh, you love to see it. That is very nice. It goes together marvellously. You have returned from potato duties. Welcome back. Also, I might have missed the message, but what are potato duties out of interest? Okay, here comes the guess. That way. That way, maybe? Hey, yo. I love it. Do you ever find the need to sand the plastic, or just always the knife? I've never found I needed to sand the plastic, no. The knife is usually more than sufficient for me. I mean, look, I'll defer to people who are much better at building and have more patience than I do for building. Because I don't have a great patience for it. I have a certain level that I'm very happy with. But I've never needed more than the knife. I used to use a mold line remover for everything until the internet bullied me. Basically. Everyone got really mad at me for saying I like the Citadel tools. I know, right? Shocking. There we go. 6 and 7. Ow. I think you go in here. Ah! So what I think I need after this one is I definitely need to get my hands on Younggrim. Younggrim Iron Fist, as has been previewed for the Dwarven Holds. And then I will have my epic team of hero dwarves. Why do I feel like that's not sitting flush for a reason? There must be a reason behind that. Ah. There's a reason this isn't sitting flush. This might be a... You should just clip off the peg. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to clip this peg off. Give it the old smoothie. Yeah, that makes it behave. There we go. Bit of glue. See, I said I got bullied by the internet because I said I liked the Citadel tools. And you've all now gone, yeah, they're terrible. Stop it. Leave me alone. Good morning, Mr. Hipster. Thanks for the advice on lighting. Got one on the weekend and it's coming today. Awesome, Ian. Ah. A little cheeky bit of glue. I completely agree with you guys that a pair of super expensive clippers are absolutely worth the investment. The God Hand ones in particular. However, I've been using this pair of clippers since the day Games Workshop sent them to me. They're perfectly fine. They do the job. So I don't need to spend $60 on... I've never been using this pair of clippers and thought, oh, do you know what? These are rubbish. Do you know what I mean? I have used clippers where I have gone, these are definitely rubbish. Whereas these clippers, I've absolutely had no problems with them whatsoever. And they've been going perfectly fine for... God, it must be approaching 2 years now. Maybe 3. I'm not sure. The argument usually boils down to, don't buy Games Workshop clippers because they're expensive. Just buy really cheap ones because they'll last you forever. And when I have bought cheap ones in the past, they haven't lasted forever. However, they are cheaper. But, and like I will say as well, I've tried loads of different... I've tried... I mean, I own a pair of all of the Games Workshop stuff. Some because it was given to me and some because I bought it. But, like, I hated the metal ones. You know, these ones. These ones. I do not like these clippers at all. I was given these. And I don't like these. I will criticize these all day long. I just don't like them. But these ones, I love these. They work perfectly for me. There we go. Grombrindal is built. He looks dope. Painting video coming very, very soon. You guys are asking me about lights. Yeah, I mean, look, I did a video all about lighting, which no one watched. Let me find it. YouTube. Warhipster lighting. Lighting your desk. Yeah. So in that, basically, we looked at what I have up here, which is the I have a Serious Reader's light, which is very powerful. As you can see, it's already illuminated my face. So I have that, but I also have these big Niwa panel lights that I use because they're appropriate for me filming, and they light my entire space. I also talk in that video about smaller lights, bigger lights, and I also think I put the links in. But in the video where I also do products that I use or something is what it's called. Brands. I think it's called That's a Lot of Brands. Where is it? Oh, I'm gonna have to look for it manually. I can't remember the name of it. View your channel, videos. It was behind the scenes, cool hobby and video stuff I use. There it is. Shush. So in that, I also look at there's a couple of different lights that I recommend in that one as well. As well as different photography lights and stuff like that. What movie should I watch tonight? Oh, what are you in the mood for, Plopsicorn? That's the big question. You want to laugh? You want to cry? You want to be scared? You want to get the blood pumping? Hello, hope everyone is well. I've been wanting to use Contrast Plus for my demons, but honestly the most intimidating part is Wraithbone Primer. Any quick tips for that colour specifically? So I use the rattle cans, the spray cans, to prime all my miniatures rather than brush paint it on. It doesn't have to be Wraithbone. A Wraithbone will just add a lot of warmth to the demons. White Scar will be nice and bright. Grey Seer will make them cold. And then, of course, you have options from places like Colourforge or Vallejo or the Army Painter that also stock sprays that do similar colours, like Army Painter Matte White, for example. They're all just as good as one another. Some are better than others. Some are worse than others. The choice is really up to you in terms of availability. One of the things I will recommend, again, shill alert, the Games Workshop spray stick is great because you can just use the elastic bands to have all of your models on the stick, and it's a 360-degree thing, and it lets you prime really kind of. I really like it because it means that like I keep the distances about right. So you need to be about 30 centimeters away when you're priming, and do short, sharp bursts of the primer. So instead of just like holding the primer can button down until they're primed, just do them in little spurts. So like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 from an angle, and then do the next one and next one and next one. Hey, Squigburger, how you doing? Does anybody have a hint to attach the collar on Krondys? I don't find any services that would match. Oh, it's been so long since I built Krondys. I remember it being irritating. The kind of neck thing doesn't necessarily line up properly. Are you going to watch the Skull Showcase tomorrow? It's something 5 p.m. UK time. I'm going to watch it, yeah. I don't think I'm going to stream it because I've got a video coming out tomorrow and around about the same time, and I don't want to cannibalize the video. Because if you do too much at once on YouTube, it won't push any notifications. If I do a live stream at about 5, that takes me up to about 6:30 p.m. and I have a video. No, it won't tell anyone that the video has gone live, and that will make Josh sad. And that video is going to be Contrast Plus how to paint Dark Oath Fell Riders for those of you who are interested. Given as they go on pre-order on Saturday, some of you might be buying some Fell Riders. Some of you might already have the army set and want to know how to paint your Fell Riders that you already have. This has been quite productive tonight. I'm impressed. You guys have put 93 likes on the stream. We need 7 more. Just checking my emails. Don't know why I'm doing this. Brain. This is stupid. I'm supposed to be engaging with all of you, and yet my brain wants me to do that. Show one ready model. You love being spoiled. You want a Fell Rider? They're actually on the other side of the room. My audience base is loyal, and you guys are amazing. You are a fantastic audience. You are an amazing audience, and you're wonderful, and you're very, very kind to me, and you're very, very good to me. Probably better than I deserve, to be honest. But it's just the YouTube algorithm being YouTubey. You want to see some ready models? You can do that. Well, we have this. That's not in focus. So this is a video that's coming up. This is a video that's coming up. We have Branch Witch, which is also coming up. Alongside some delicious Kurnoth Hunters. That's coming. So there you go. That's a 2-part video that's coming out. Maggot Kingdom Nurgle for all your Spearhead needs. There we go. There's a lovely little Spoilpox Scrivener. For those of you who love your Maggot Kingdom Nurgle / demons, we have that on the way. We have this guy. For those of you who haven't already seen it, this is on the way. The Beast Skewer Killbow. That's another video that is on its way soon to an inbox near you. One that I know a lot of you have been waiting for. This one, the Maya Brute Troggoth. Is there a Fire Slayer Spearhead? There is, Graham. It is 20 Volkite. It's the Vanguard set that you have now. So the Vanguard set should be rebranded to a Spearhead, and that is that is their Spearhead set. I have everything I need for it. I just need 10 Volkite Berserkers. So it's something like 20 Volkite Berserkers, 5 Hearthguard, and a, what's it called? Runesmith? Battlesmith? It's the one with the banner. Another one that's ready for you to FQ. This guy. Carnosaur. Saurus Old Blood on Carnosaur. I'm really pleased with this one. I keep looking at it going, I did a great job on that. So that's on the way. And yeah, Vanguard. Just got to do the red and the orange. But as mentioned, can't do that now. Because I've got to film it. Yeah, they're using the Vanguard box. All of the Vanguard boxes are Spearheads. So if you want to get the jump on it, you should be able. You will be able to by getting a Vanguard set now. I have, once I do the Chaos Lord and the Chariot, I'll have 8 Spearheads. And everything has been filmed. So there is a tutorial if you wish to follow any of them along for all of the 8 Spearheads. Now in reserve, I also have let's go back to this camera. In reserve, I also have the Lumineth Realm Lords, the Soulblight Grave Lords, the Caradron Overlords as well. And I might try and think of a 12th one to do. Like, part of me wants to buy a Man Crusher mob, so I can do that one. Let me just... why am I doing it on the phone when I can do it on here? So the Spearheads, let me look. Age of Sigmar. Start here. Boom. So Vanguard Slaves to Darkness, yes. Lumineth Realm Lords, I own it. Vanguard Fire Slayers I own most of. I just need the 10 Volkite Berserkers. Vanguard Nighthaunt, that's Alice's purview. That's her army. She's done most of it. She's got to do the Night of Shrouds. And 10 Blade Guys. No, not Blade Geist Revenants. The other one, Grimgeist Reapers. Caradron Overlords I've got. Head Knights I don't own any of. Spearhead, Blades of Corn, I don't own any of. Spearhead, Daughters of Cain, I don't own. I own the Doomfire Warlocks and the Sisters of Slaughter. I just need the Meliosai and the Iron Scale. Idnath Deepkin, Adam is doing. Ogre More Tribes, I don't own. That would be a fun one to do. Spearhead, Gloomspike, Gips. I would need the Goblins. Are they Night Goblins? What are they in this one? Moon Clan Stabbers and a Loon Boss. But I have the Trogos and the Squig Hoppers. Ossiarch Bone Reapers, I don't own any of that. Soulblight Gravelords, I do. I own the actual box. Sylvaneth, I've done. Orruk Warclans, I've done. Flesh Eater Courts, I've done. Cities of Sigmar, I've done. Stormcast Eternals, I've done. So yeah, I might pick up another one to round it out to 12. I would say yes, Plops are gone, but I need to make videos out of it. So if you've already painted it, you hold on to them, bud. If you're thinking of playing Spearhead, they should be pretty good. See you later, Random 13 Cinema. Thanks for hanging out. That's awesome. You're awesome. Thanks for chilling out tonight. So yeah, I would love to do all 24 factions. I just simply do not have the time. Because one would assume that Skaven Tide isn't far away now. So I'm kind of just like biding my time until that comes out. Because I'll have all of that to paint. And that's 2 more Spearheads. That'll put me on 10, even if I don't do any more. So actually, that's a good point. If I do all the ones I have currently, plus them, that'll put me on 14 Spearheads. Stormcast will have 2 Spearheads. They will indeed. Yndrasta's Spearhead and the Something Brotherhood, I think it's called. It's not called the Something Brotherhood, but it's Something Brotherhood. I'm not entirely certain. Was there a faction focus today? Yes, there was, for the Skaven. The Northeast Claw Pack. Yeah, there it is. I have not read this today. I've been so busy painting the bloody Varangard. I shall read this later on. That's going to be fun. Yeah, no, I'm in a really fun place with Age of Sigmar right now, and I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I do need to take a little break from Project Spearhead to do some other stuff. May just appears to have completely run away from me. There's only 9 days left in the month, and I feel like I haven't done very much this month, which is terrible, because I've done quite a lot. I'm on about 22 models this month. Which is, a model of the day, which isn't bad. What have I done? I have painted basically 3 Varangard, 3 Kurnoth Hunters, a Branch Witch, 7, Saurus Oldblood, that's 8, Beast Skewer, that's 9, Spoilpox, that's 10, Breaker Boss, that's 11, 5 Vanquishers, 16, Trail Shaper and the Lone Shaper, 17, 18, and the Kroot Hounds, 22. So yeah, I've done 22 models, which isn't too bad, but like I feel like I'm behind, which is, that's my own stupid high standards for myself. because there's a hell of a lot more to go in the backlog. And it's worth it as long as you guys keep following. And the Warcry terrain. Yeah, I know. I built that as well. That's up there. House 42. Sorry I'm late to the party. Glad to see I'm not the only one feeling this way about Heresy versus 40k. I'm just stupid and can't understand the rules of Heresy. Oh, you and me are right there together, brother. I can't understand them. And I played 7th edition. A lot of 7th edition. I played a lot of 40k in my life. 3rd edition through to 7th edition. I should be able to grasp the rules. But until I actually play a game of Horus Heresy, it won't make sense. That's my whole thing. Like, usually I can look at a rules pack, and sometimes it will make sense, sometimes it won't make sense. But like most of the time, it doesn't make any sense. And then I play it and I go, "Oh, now I get it." Joe Kareem, thank you very much for becoming a member. You are an absolute hero. I very much appreciate that. Thank you so much. That puts us on 474. A mere 26 members away from returning to 500. We have 6 minutes left on the stream, plus added minutes. The new Mechanicus in Heresy, that is my entry point for this game. And I'm sure you're going to do an incredible job of it, Mini Painting Dad. You're a wonderful painter. Sorry, it's been a long time coming. I love your videos so much. No, you don't have to apologize, Joe. I really appreciate any support anyone gives me. There's never a contractual obligation. It's entirely up to you if you wish to support the channel. I am just humbled and grateful for any support that comes my way. Because, like I said earlier, somebody else probably deserves it more. That's how I feel all the time. Which is bad. That's an intrusive thought. I should know my worth. And I'm working on that. So I'm apologizing if I'm upsetting anybody by saying that. But, you know, I'm getting better in some regards. And I'm still terrible in others. You just have to bear with me on this mental health journey that I've been going on. It's a funny old world, isn't it? It's funny what your brain can do to you. I was telling Adam this actually the other night. Last night. It was yesterday, in fact. This is how stupid it is, right? Yesterday, I got a phone call from a company that was allegedly trying to save me money by helping me terminate my phone contract by giving them my bank details over the phone. All I had to do was give them the long card number, the sort code, the account number, and the security code on the back, and they would be able to cancel my phone contract for me for a small fee, and they would be able to put me on a really cheap phone contract. That's what they were able to do. It's 100% a scam, right? Definitely a scam. Should never ask for card details over the phone, ever. And I was just sat there just being like, this is definitely a scam. And I said to him, I'm not going to give you any of those details because I don't know who you are. I don't know what your company is. And I don't know why you're calling me today. And he got really angry at me. Called me some gamer words. Got very, very cross. And was just very, very, very aggressive. And then hung up the phone. By insinuating that it was my fault. That I was the one that got aggressive. And I just said, look, I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're calling me. I've never heard of you before. And I question whether or not this is legitimate. And yeah, it just blew up at me. And do you know what? For the rest of the day yesterday, I felt bad that I'd hurt that person's feelings. Despite the person definitely trying to scam me out of all my money. Because it was 100% a scam. There was no question that it was a scam. Because you don't cold call people and ask them for their you don't cold call people and ask them for their credit card details. That's not what happens. So yeah, I spent the whole of yesterday feeling bad that I'd upset somebody who was trying to rob me. It's bizarre, right? It's stupid. It's really stupid. So I went back to painting my models in a huff. You son of a bitch. How dare you make me feel bad. And I got cross. Ugh. Life, eh? Silly brain. I just couldn't move on. That's what was strange. I was just like, why can't I just move on from this? What's going on? What is wrong with me? You rarely speak. You just answer and wait in silence. Oh, I like that. I like that as a method. No, because I saw the number. What was the number? It was a vaguely normal number. So I was like, oh, maybe this is a consultant ringing me asking me if I still work in learning and development. I goes, I get those calls every so often, or I have somebody from my network from in the jobs I used to do saying, hey, do you still do this, or do you know anyone who might be able to who is looking for a job at the moment? And usually I'll try and be helpful and just be like, I don't do this anymore. I work on YouTube, but I can recommend you a number of people for that job. And so I sort of vaguely knew the number, and then I was like, damn it, why did I answer that? And Mini Painting Dad, thank you very much for the €10. Sending 10 hugs. Keep your head up, mate. Thank you, Mini Painting Dad. I will. I do. I'm fine. I'm okay. Yesterday I was in a mood. But thank you. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. I once had a company call me every day at the same time for weeks, gave up and went through the whole process of ordering a brand new conservatory. Nice. Did you want the conservatory? Picked out everything and got to the payment bit before asking them how they were going to fit it. Were they going to use stilts, as I lived on a first floor flat? Oddly enough, they never called again. Nice. Nice work. Oh, I love that. I had it when one of the most persistent callers of all time for me was Sky. So for those of you that don't know, who don't live in the UK, Sky provides satellite television. I worked for Sky. Specifically, I worked for a on-demand streaming service called Now TV, which is part of Sky. Well, it's called Now. It's not called Now TV anymore, but I worked for Now, and I worked for them for not 40 years. I worked for them for 4.5 years. And whilst I was there, one of the benefits when you work at Sky is you get the Sky package for free. You can also get broadband for free, but you have to pay the line rental, right? So there's a lot of packages for free, right? Lots of benefits to working with Sky, and I really enjoyed that job. But I did eventually leave that job because my position there became untenable. I just wasn't enjoying it. I couldn't be there anymore. It changed too much, and there was a lot of fallings out. I'll get into that on another time. But for the next 2 years after I left, because I cancelled all of the benefits I had for free with Sky, the retention team would call me every single day at around about the same time, similarly around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had the conversation with them. And bearing in mind, I was being called by some people whom I had provided training to, so they knew who I was, but they didn't know what, couldn't put two and two together, because obviously I'm not the only Josh Hill in the world. Anyway, I kept getting this call saying, "Oh, we noticed that you've, your package is about to run out." That was in the beginning, or it was, "We noticed that your package just ran out, and we wondered if you would consider resubscribing. We've got a great deal for you." And every single time, it was always a case of, "Listen, what I had before was this package, and I paid £0 and 0 pence for it. Are you going to be able to? Are you going to pay me to take Sky? Because that's the only way you can give me a better deal." And they would be like, "Well, obviously not, but we got a really good deal." I was like, "Okay, what is it?" "Well, your normal package, your package that you had before was worth this much. We can do that for you for," I think at the time it was like 50 quid a month. And I was like, "Okay, but that's £50 more than what I was paying before when it was free." And they kept saying, "Well, it can't have ever been free." And I was like, "Yes, it was free because I used to work for you." And they were like, "I don't understand." And we just went round the houses, and it always ended in, "We'll try him again later." And I was just like, every single time, and I kept saying, "Take me off the list. Stop calling me. Take me off the list." And they kept not doing it. So eventually I emailed the person. I knew who was their boss because I worked there. I emailed the person and said, "None of your lot are doing any of the compliance checks they have to do. When I keep telling them take me off the list, and they don't do it." Funnily enough, I didn't get any calls after that. Good luck, Mini Painting Dad. Thanks for hanging out tonight, and thank you very much again for the super chat. Stilts, you say? Very 40k innovation. Absolutely spot on. Hello, random salutation. I'm very well, thank you. How are you? HelloFresh are the most persistent company for calling endlessly and endlessly about renewing a sub for overpriced, low-quality fodder. Yeah, but they do hand out vouchers like they're candy. We were with HelloFresh for a while, and then we went to Gusto. And then I think we went back to HelloFresh for a week, and then we bought an air fryer, and we were like, we probably don't need them anymore. We can do it ourselves. Any recommendations for black chrome for a painter that leans on contrast paints? Black chrome? That's interesting. Let me have a look. Black chrome. What does it vaguely look like? Oh, I see. I mean, you can get pretty close if you use. I would test both these things, right? Either Lead Belcher or Iron Warriors as a base, and then using thinned down Black Templar, probably like 4-1, like really thin, over the top of it, to give it that sort of black metal feel. Normally, so I do that sometimes when I'm using it just as a shade, because what I would then do as my next thing is to relayer whatever my original base coat is over the top, to like punch it right back up again. But if you didn't do that and then went in with a subtler silver highlight, so if you went Iron Warriors, and then like 4 parts Lamian Medium to 1 part Black Templar over the top, and then just edge highlighted it with probably with Lead Belcher, rather than anything like Ironbreaker, because that would be too shiny. That would give you a really subtle, almost black chrome look. That would look really cool as well. See you next week, Plots of Corn. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I refuse to join the air fryer cult. No, I did for a long time. But the reason we got the air fryer is because our oven's terrible. The seal on it is bad. So it takes ages to heat the oven up, and then sometimes it will just start leaking heat. It's an absolute nightmare to use our oven. So we bought the air fryer just to make that easier. Do you think contrast metallics will ever be a thing? I don't think they will. I think they would want to make them. You know, I think there's definitely a way that there's a way that a contrast metallic can work, but the problem with them is that because they work on the principle that you have two different pigments, one heavy, one light, whereas when you do a metallic, it's got flakes in it, right? Basically, what happens with, for example, the army painter ones is it's really shiny in the recesses and less so on the flat panels, and that can be fine for small bits and pieces here and there, but what it doesn't do is a consistent shine all the way through with a shadow in it. Instead, what you get is a collection of the metallic in the you get the collection of the metallic in the recess, and it's less shiny on the top. So it's not quite working the way that you want it to work. So whereas I think it could be possible that it might happen one day, really what you need to have is a really light shiny paint and then a non-metallic shiny paint that actually does the recesses. You see what I mean? I think that's kind of maybe too difficult for the paint to figure out at the moment. So until Games Workshop does it, which I mean, and they haven't done it, and the reason why they haven't done it is because it doesn't really work, at least in the way that you want it to work. That would probably be why it hasn't happened yet. But I'm sure they're trying to make it work. Oh my god, brushed Skeleton Horde by accident, wrong pot open, over Retributor armor. It is amazing, and then wet wipe brush the high air it is. Doing Stormcast. Sounds good, AOS Psy. Skeleton Horde can be a really nice little shade for some metallics. I also really like Agaros Dunes, can work. I also really like Gore Grunter Fur over the top of silver, because it gives you a really lovely rusted metal. It looks perfect. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do. Like, I would love nothing more than a contrast metallic, especially a contrast metallic that covers over mistakes, because that's one of my problems with the Army Painter Speed Paint metallics is where I don't want to have to correct like the end of a gun barrel in order to use it. I just like to be able to throw Iron Warriors over it, for example, and that covers over the paint. So at the moment, until you get a paint that can cover over mistakes with a metallic, but also shade it nicely, it just isn't gonna work. Unfortunately, at least for the way I paint at the moment. But I hope it can happen. Who knows? Next year is hobby products from Games Workshop, so we might see Contrast Paint Wave 3. I don't think we will, but we might. I have no idea what it's going to be next year. Like, the third year in a Games Workshop cycle is always really exciting because you have no idea what's coming in the summer. After next summer, you can then go, cool, not AOS, 40k 11 on the way. Summer 2025, no idea. Summer 2026, 40k 11th. Summer 2027, AOS 5. I'm telling you that now. Guaranteed. Unless they completely change how they do things, but I don't think they will. But next year, who knows? Who can guess? We'll have to cross that bridge this time next year. We'll figure it out. But I've just seen the time. It is 11:15, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. You guys are the best. I want to say a big thank you to Asmodeus, Martin Melzer, Colonel, Plopsicorn, Christos, Joe Kareem, and Mini Painting Dad for the memberships, the gifted member, and the super chats. You guys are absolutely legends. I really very much appreciate it. The channel does not survive without your support. And it's because of people like you that we continue to keep the lights on around here, making endless tutorials forever and ever. But I'm going to leave it there because I've got to go and finish a Varangard. That's what I've got to do. You know? Lots to do and less time to do it in. You mean you want this Varangard video, right? So I gotta go and film it. But thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight, guys. I really appreciate it. Always and forever, I will love you for taking part. Here is the hand of farewell. I don't know why I'm waving it like this. This is the hand of washing a window. This is the hand of farewell. Farewell, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. And I will see you all very soon tomorrow for another painting video. Good night, one and all. You're the best audience ever. Bye!